The cafe on the corner smelled like cardamom and old paper. It was the kind of place where people stared at their own reflections in their mugs, pretending to read. I'd chosen a table by the window, angled just so the afternoon sun could fall across my notebook, the battered blue one with a fraying elastic and a coffee stain shaped like a crescent moon. I wrote a last line, "You deserve constellations, not my clumsy sentences," and shut the cover. Then my phone buzzed. It was my editor, asking for a title I hadn't found. I stood, turned, said, 2 minutes, and slipped toward the door to get better reception. It was genuinely 2 minutes. When I returned, my table had become a small, polite crime scene. The mug was there, the spoon, the sugar packet folded into a boat. The notebook was gone. I scanned the cafe. The students, the couple arguing in whispers, the barista wrestling with steam. The chair in front of my table was pulled out, as if someone had just stood up with my heart in their hands and walked away. And then I saw her. She was at the counter, a line ahead, the sun painting her hair the color of honey burned just right. She wore a pale green dress, the kind of color you only buy if you trust yourself to be noticed in it. In her left hand was my notebook. She had it tucked under her arm like she'd been carrying it all afternoon, like it belonged to her and always had. Lena. I knew her name the way you know your own, because I'd written it 100 times. I went cold and hot in the same breath. My feet moved before I decided. My voice came out softly, because that's how cowardice disguises itself. Lena. She turned, surprised, then puzzled, then amused, like a camera pulling focus through 3 frames. Omar. Her smile was a question. You left this. Her fingers tapped the notebook's spine, casual, almost kind. My chest pinched. That's actually. I began, but she was already talking to the barista, ordering a chai and something with pistachios. She always ordered something with pistachios. I knew that too, the way you know the pattern of rain you've walked through enough times. I'd worked at the library across the street. She came in on Tuesdays for the art books and sat under the stained glass window, wreathed in colored light like some saint of patience. We had exchanged those drifting good day smiles that are either everything or nothing, and it had felt like juggling a world. I wrote about it, I wrote about her. I wrote because I couldn't speak without shaking. She lifted the notebook slightly. It was on the table, she said, as if reminding me what the physical universe does. Right, I said. Thank you. She didn't hand it over. Is it personal? She asked. No accusation, just curiosity, but she pivoted the notebook enough to reveal the slim sticker on the cover. If found, please return to, and my name and number written in neat, anxious print. Yes. Very. The words scraped my throat. Lena glanced behind me at my table. Can we sit? I'm waiting for my chai. We sat opposite each other where my coffee had cooled into a pale planet. The afternoon peeled itself into rain. Drops rang against the windows like a drummer testing a snare. In front of me, the notebook lay between us, a small, silent animal whose heartbeat synchronized with mine. I didn't read it, she said. Not really. Just the first page. My heart stopped. It didn't matter that I'd written 100 pages since, each worse and better than the last. It didn't matter that the first page started with a description of a girl in a green dress I hadn't yet seen her wear, and ended with a confession that had taken me 3 attempts and a trembling hand. What mattered was that the private weather I carried had been felt by someone else. You're a writer, she went on, not as a question. Or you're trying to be. I'm trying to be, I said. Professionally at least. Privately, I write. About me. She said it like she was observing rain or a bird. Factual, slightly delighted. I didn't mean to. Exhaled. Then I told the truth. I kept not meaning to. We were both quiet. The barista slid her chai onto our table, and the steam spiraled, fragrant, a genie nearly deciding to grant us a wish. Lena touched the cup but didn't drink. "What did the first page say?" she asked. I stared at the blue cover. Could have lied. I could have said it was an old draft, an assignment, a list. But I had already placed the most tender thing I owned within her reach. Cowardice would be expensive and, in the end, poorer. "It said that you looked like you were listening to the books," I said. "Not reading them. It said your laugh made the stained glass brighter. And it said that if I ever had the nerve to admit it, I would ask you for coffee. But until then I would put it here in the notebook, where I keep all the things I'm not brave enough to say out loud." Her eyes shimmered in a way that had nothing to do with tears and everything to do with attention. She lifted the notebook, weighed it. "And how heavy does this get?" she asked, smiling. "Heavier every day." Outside, the rain thickened. The lights flickered, and the café became briefly dim. All the faces rendered softer, newer. The barista lit a candle by the register. The whispering couple stopped whispering. For a moment, the entire room became a living photograph. Lena set the notebook down. Her hand lingered on it, and I noticed a faint smear of green paint on her thumb. She was always smudged by color, not failing to clean up, refusing to. She looked at me as if deciding whether to step into water. "I have a notebook too," she said. "Not blue. Yellow. Ugly yellow. I draw in it. People on trains and the backs of chairs and the way the light hits faces at 4 in the afternoon. I didn't know what to do with it until now." "What do you mean?" "I mean I had an idea," she said. "It might be terrible. Brace. We could read one page together," she said, eyes bright with dare. "From yours, then from mine. We could borrow each other's fear for an afternoon and see if it stops being fear." My laugh knocked against my teeth. It wasn't what I'd dreamed of in my better fantasies. It was better. It made a shape in the air that felt like possibility. "Now." "Yes. Now," she said. "Before your courage changes its mind." So I opened the notebook to the first page. The one I'd written months ago when the stained glass had laid a blue ladder across the library floor and I'd imagined climbing it. My handwriting tilted with youth. I had somehow been younger than then. I read it aloud. I heard my own voice the way you hear a song you loved before you knew anything about songs. Lena listened. When I finished, she didn't tease. She touched the edge of the page with 2 fingers, as if blessing it. "Okay," she said softly. "My turn." She pulled out her phone. Photos of sketches, page after page of delicate graphite in odd places. Bus tickets, cafeteria napkins, even a receipt with the amount circled into a halo. She showed me a drawing of the library window with a colored light pooling on the floor. And in the corner, small and careful, a figure hunched over a desk, one hand crooked around a blue notebook. "I didn't know if it was blue until today," she said. "Look at that. I got it wrong." "No," I said. "You got it right. The cover was blue even back then. I just didn't have it yet."